Do you need to increase the number of listings in your Etsy shop to give yourself a better chance of being seen? Let's find out how we do that. Hey, it's Pam Duthie. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a Monday and every Monday I make Etsy tips videos. Tips and tricks to help you market your small artistic business. So if this is something you're interested in, don't forget, come back every Monday. So you've probably noticed, if anyone ever asks how they can grow their Etsy shop fast or how they can improve things, the first piece of advice that people often give is you need more listings. So I've got 5 tips to help you get more listings fast. So just a quick question before we get into it. How many listings do you currently have? Did you notice any growth in your Etsy shop when you reached a certain level of listings? 50, 100, 200? What's been the magic number for you? So tip 1 for increasing your listings is to add variations as a different listing. So on your Etsy listings, you have the option for, say you make 5 different shirts, you have an option of a drop-down variations to be able to include all the colours, and that's fantastic, and you want to keep that in your one item. But what you can do, if you have more than one of just that colour, then you're able to make 5 listings as well. So what you would do, imagine the first one is a red shirt, you make that listing focused on the red shirt. The main couple of photographs is of the red shirt, the title mentions a red shirt, but in the description you also include links and you have options for other shirts, and in the drop down variations you have the other colours. But you also have 4 other listings. You have a listing for the blue shirt that features the blue shirt as the main photograph. In the title it's geared towards blue shirt, but in the listing description you mention the other colours, and in the drop down menu you have the other colours. This way you have 5 listings, and it also helps your customers, because customers can be lazy. If they're looking for a red shirt and your item comes up and it shows blue, they won't necessarily even bother clicking on it. They want the colour they want, so give them all the options in separate listings. Step 2, can you make different sizes? How my shop really took off was when I started making the small sculptures. This is an item that I can make quicker because it's smaller, therefore I can make more of them, list more of them. It's a slightly cheaper price point, so people who would maybe aspire to one of the larger sculptures can actually treat themselves to a smaller sculpture. It gives more options for the customer, but it also gives me a much bigger scope of things that I can have in my shop. For instance, a small sculpture can take 3 to 5 hours to make. A large sculpture can take up to a week. So I was struggling. I knew it was going to take a really long time to fill my shop with large sculptures, but I was able to sit down and in a week fire out quite a few small sculptures that I was able to list on my shop. Tip 3, can you make custom listings? I know in your shop you have the option with your item to click that you accept custom requests from that listing, but you can also include your custom work as a listing in its own. This is something that I do in my own shop. Every time I make a custom sculpture for someone, those pictures go into a new listing that'll say something along the lines of custom Staffordshire Bull Terrier dog, and I explain in the description that the photographs are an example of something that I can make for you, and explain how they can contact me, what I'm going to need from them to make them the custom order. And this means that every time I make something, it can have its own listing, so my shop actually grows while I'm selling more. Tip number 4, themes. Rather like the colours mentioned in the first tip, if you can have themes that you can make similar but slightly different items, like different colours. But also for myself, I found rather than just saying custom dog, I was better to try and focus and work on specific breeds of dogs. So people searching for a King Charles Spaniel type art are going to search for a King Charles Spaniel, not necessarily dog. So I have the option to make lots of listings all focusing on different breeds of dog. The same if you make jewellery, you could perhaps make several different types based on birthstones, gems, types of material. If you're making cards, make them for different seasons, Christmas, Easter. If you're making, say, name banners, make as many different names as you can. Even if this involves just a little Photoshop mock-up to say what it might look like, you don't necessarily have to make every single name you can think of, but you can do a mock-up and make a listing for that individual name, so you'll have more items in your shop, but it'll also be more targeted, so a customer looking for that one thing will be able to find you on top of the search. And step 5, branding, as I mentioned in my how to make more money for less work video, which is up in the cards here, you can also add branding type things. So for an example, a popular thing that I found is taking sketches of some of the good pictures of my sculptures and turning them into digital stamps for people who enjoy scrapbooking and card making. You could again use the Printly service through Etsy to use your images to make mugs and t-shirts. I hope this helped get some ideas firing of how you can expand your listings and grow your shop. If this was useful for you, don't forget, click on my wee face to subscribe. Come back every Monday. I'll see you then.